So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and I welcome you all in this live session by Drishti IAS. As usual, we will be discussing Indian Express. As you know, it was Holi. I hope you have celebrated well. So obviously we have missed the 3 or 4 live sessions, and because of which we will be covering those news articles from your last few newspapers in today's session. There was nothing much in between, because obviously because of the Holi there is less coverage, etc. So we will see what is important for us. Other than that, if you have missed anything, we must have covered it in some other program, so don't worry about it. Okay, so let's start. So we'll start with the practice question which was given to you in the last class, and then we'll go forward with these articles, that is top Bhutan honor for PM. So PM of India, Mr. Modi, has been awarded with this honor in Bhutan, where he was there for a visit. Okay, and despite elections, he has gone to Bhutan for some bilateral visits. So you can see that what kind of significance Bhutan holds in our foreign policy. Okay, then moving forward, falling fertility rates. So recently there is this report which is saying that in India and world over also, if we see, this fertility is dropping. Okay, so what will be the impact of fertility being dropped in India as well as overall world, if we are talking about? Okay, then Xenot transplants. We will talk about Xenot transplant. What is Xenot transplant and why these are in news, and in that regard we will also talk about this CRISPR Cas9. You must have heard about this technology, and because of which now it is able, it is for humans, we are now going for such transplant, that is Xenot transplant. Okay, so we'll talk about that. When we are talking about the CRISPR Cas9 technology, when we are talking about this Cas9 specifically, it is basically a molecular scissors, okay, to cut a biomolecule, or you can say part of a DNA. Okay, then moving further, we will talk about Gulal Gas. Now this particular term has been in news, and that can be important from your art and culture point of view. We will see why these Gulal Gas were in news, and specifically they have significance, or you can say they are importance related to Holi. So we will talk about that. Then around the world some topics are there, we will discuss. Nothing much has happened in last few days, and then there will be a practice question for you to solve. Okay, so let's start. I hope everything is clear. Okay, so let's move further. This was the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Manrega wages are primarily based on national minimum wage rate, CPI-AL, that is agricultural labor, then market demand for skilled labor, and government budget allocations. Okay, so obviously we have discussed this thing in the article, so we know that it is CPI agricultural labor. When we are talking about Manrega provides for particular days of employment to those who are seeking it, and this kind of work in this Manrega would be unskilled labor. Okay, now this is related to labor, and mostly it is in the rural area. Manrega rural is there. Now recently in Rajasthan government they have gone for the urban as well, but the thing is that would be unskilled labor, and that is why we are going for the agricultural labor as the, you can say, benchmark to determine the wages in Manrega. Okay, now moving further, starting with the article number 1 of the day, that is related to your India-Bhutan bilateral relations, and I would not go into details of what are the relations, because recently you know that these relations are cordial. Okay, we have been friends. We have a treaty of friendship which has been signed way back after just after independence, and since then Bhutan has been a cordial partner with India, and they have been all-weather partners. Okay, even though China is trying to make some kind of footprints in Bhutan, but they are not letting them. Okay, other than that, you must have heard about a particular protected area which has been in news. I would like you to name that particular area in the comment box, which was in news because of the Chinese claim on that particular area. Earlier China did not claim on that particular protected area of Bhutan, but recently, or you can say last 1 or 2 years, they are saying that that part is of China. Okay, so that is why that particular protected area was in news, and that is why I'm asking you, you must have known that. Okay, now coming to this article, Prime Minister Narendra Modi being conferred with the order of Druk Gyalpo. This particular order of Druk Gyalpo, this is Bhutan's highest civilian order or award by King Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk. Okay, so he is the king of Bhutan. You must remember the name if you want to. Okay, so top Bhutan honor for PM, transforming ancient civilization to dynamic tech center. So basically they have talked a lot about each other, they have praised each other in a very fancy way. Okay, so I would want you to read this article. Okay, there are certain things you would find interesting. Other than that, Bhutan's King Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk on Friday that with Modi at the helm, India's future is bright, and a successful India means a bright future for Bhutan, because India and Bhutan's economies are related. You must know that Bhutan's economy is mostly on the hydroelectrical power. Okay, and Bhutan, export this power to India. Other than that, also there are various you can say opportunities, economic opportunities for Bhutanese in India, as well as when we are talking about the tourism for Bhutan, India is important because from India various tourists go to Bhutan. Other than that, also we are also training Bhutanese police forces also. Okay, so this is why India and Bhutan are quite cordial, and other than that, for Bhutan we are quite important because Bhutan is sandwiched between India and China, and now China is trying to be aggressive in front of Bhutan, and they are trying to make their ways into Bhutan. Okay, so that is also one thing. Now here, conferring the order of the Druk Gyalpo, Bhutan's highest civilian decoration, on Prime Minister Modi, the first foreign leader to be facilitated with this award. Now this is the significance of this visit, wherein he has been awarded with the highest order, and he was the first foreigner to be awarded with this particular honor. So that is why you can say that what kind of importance India holds for Bhutan. So this is something you can remember for your prelims. Other than that, they have also gone for various bilateral agreements, or you can say signing of various documents that is related to your renewable energy or hydroelectric power. Other than that, transport. Other than that, they have also go for the rail to space, etc. So various arenas they have gone for the bilateral document signing. Okay, so you don't have to remember all these, but the thing is, for prelims point of view, this particular point would be quite important for you. Other than that, all those things like old HYP projects, water sharing, other than that your transportation, tourism, all these are the static part which must have been covered by you from your notes. Okay, now moving forward with the second article. Okay, hold on. Now coming to the second article, that is related to your fertility rate. Okay, now first we will see what is fertility rate. So when we are talking about this fertility rate, that is average number of children born per woman. Okay, this is average number of children born per woman. Okay, so now we are saying that that particular number is dropping in India. Okay, recently there was this report which is saying that that number has been will be dropped by dropped to 1.29 by 2050. Now that is a cause of concern, because till now when we are talking about the India's population, we are talking about demographic dividend. Okay, demographic dividend means that we have a demography which will give you a dividend. Okay, and demography which is giving you a dividend must be, you can say, young, because dividend, when will you get a dividend? When your workforce is working at a particular pace. Okay, and for your workforce to work, you need young people, or you can say working age people. Okay, so we were hoping that by 2050 we will have a demographic dividend, and we will capitalize it, or you can say exploit it for our economic growth. Now the thing is, now we are saying that this particular fertility rate will be reduced to 1.29. okay, and because of which ultimately we will not reach to the replacement rate. Replacement rate is the one wherein one generation is totally been replaced by the another generation. Okay, so wherein you can say that when you are going for the proper replacement, the number of working force or the people in the working force will remain same, okay, and India will not be dependent, or you can say a country which will have a more population of dependent people. Dependent people are basically, you can say, small children, and then you can also say all the senior citizens which are not working and they are dependent on their son, or you can say daughter in the family, okay. So basically this particular group of people which are dependent, if that increases and the workforce decreases, that will have a harmful impact on the economy, okay. So let's come to this particular article. India's total fertility rate, that is TFR, or the average number of children born per woman, will fall to 1.29 by 2050. That is a study which is published in Lancet, okay. You don't have to remember the name, but remember the number, okay, that will help you. This is far lower than the replacement rate. Now, to go for a proper replacement, as I told you, replacement rate is a rate, the level of fertility at which the population exactly replaces itself from one generation to the next. That replacement rate should be 2.1%, which is right now we are saying that by 2050 we will be seeing it 1.29. So obviously we are far away from the replacement rate, okay. So because of which our population will not replace the whole other population, and ultimately the workforce will decrease because number of dependent or number of senior citizen will increase. That is the case which is right now happening with China. China and various Western countries, or you can say various developed countries, are seeing this trend wherein their population of aged people is increasing, which is putting a pressure on the government, because when population of aged people increases, there are various, you can say, social reforms, or you can say social services which government has to provide to these people so that these people can live with dignity, okay. So that is why it is a cause of concern as of now. So here we have seen that is 2.1, meaning India will see a rapidly depleting working age population with 1 in 5 Indians a senior citizen, okay. So nearly 20% people will be senior citizen. Then we will have we know that labor participation, when we are talking about the women, that is not up to mark, okay. Other than that, there will be children which are dependent on this working force. So ultimately you will see that there will be a reduction in the working force, okay. India's TFR has steadily declined since independence. That was in 1950s it was 6.18%, in 1980s it was 4.60%, and then into 2021 it was 1.91, okay, which will be 1.29 by 2050. So earlier, see what is the irony, irony behind this, that earlier at stages where our population was increasing, we were worried about population increase. Now that population is decreasing, we are worried about population decrease as well, okay, because ultimately we should maintain a population which will provide you a dividend, okay. So now, behind falling fertility, what are the reasons, or you can say what is there, what are the kind of changes which is leading to this particular change, okay. So here you can see a scenario was expected because of the India's post independence population control push, okay. You know that we have gone for the family planning, etc. We have gone for the reduction in the population, all those schemes, or you can say all those initiatives which we have taken in the past, now that are actually giving you results, and ultimately because of which this population rate, or you can say the fertility rate, is dropping, okay. Other than that, there is also another impact of the female literacy. Now when females are aware of their potential, their choices, so they will decide for themselves, and mostly females nowadays, they are working or they are going for the career options. So ultimately they do not have time for it, or otherwise also they are going for the proper planning of it, and ultimately they are saying that they are not going for the more than 2 children, or at various places more than 1 child, because child rearing, or you can say being a parent, is a luxury which you must afford, because education is kind of, you can say, expensive, health sector is kind of expensive, government is not providing as much as benefit which government should. So ultimately having a child, or you can say going for being a parent, is kind of a luxury, okay, and which you cannot afford if you are not let's say earning well, okay. So ultimately these are certain reasons: rise of females literacy, women's workforce participation is increasing, led to women's having fewer children at larger age, okay. and chosen not to have children at all in some cases. Now parents now do not receive much benefits from their children the way they used to, because earlier we had to have this community based social structure wherein we were going for the joint families, and when there was joint families, parents were dependent on the children because children will provide for them. Okay, but recently we have seen more and more individualistic trends, and we are going for the nuclear families, and ultimately at some point we are seeing that these kids which are living outside, okay, they are not able to provide benefits to their parents. Okay, so ultimately that is also one of the reasons now parents don't have the expectations that he will be the support system in the elder age, so why go for it at all. Okay, so that is one of the reason now that is influencing their decision to not have children at all. Okay, or you can say an additional children, because that is even increase the cost. Now a substantial cost of bringing them up, as I told you, there are various things like education, then health, then there are various co-curricular activities which have a lot of expenditure. So that is why going for having a children is quite costly affair. Now long term consequences, what will be the long term consequences? As we have seen that mostly these consequences will be on the economy. Okay, the share of elderly in the population will increase, because obviously if our we are not going for the proper replacement rate, so we will see that the share of the people who are, or you can say elderly people, will increase, and the demographic dividend will reduce. Okay, now challenges like labor force shortage, there will be obviously working force participation is decreasing, then there will be demand for labor, and there will be a shortage and potential social imbalance due to the gender preferences. The providing affordable child care, investing in health care, and taking on large scale male engagement initiative to build gender equality. So there are certain things which we can do, you can go for more responsibilities on the men, going for the investment in the health sector, education sector, so that the family has to, you can say, spend less on the child, and because of which they can have this incentive wherein they can go for you can say a birth of a child. Okay, so now this mentality wherein we have this thing imbibed that this is a costly affair. Now government has to change that. You have to invest more and more into that, so that youngsters might go for a choice that is for the birth of a child. Okay, now worldwide decline, we are seeing that we are saying that by 2050 155 of the 204 countries will be seeing a below replacement rate, or you can say a fertility rate which will be below replacement rate. Okay, and by 2100 we will be seeing that nearly 198 countries, or 97% of the countries, will be seeing the similar trends. So ultimately that will have an impact on the economy. Okay, so that is about this particular article. Now we can move further to the next article, that is related to your xenot transplants. Okay, can a pig's kidney work for a transplant? So recently when we are talking about kidney transplant, we have different laws, and the number of donors are less than the number of recipients. So there is a demand which is high, but the thing is there are stringent laws which are saying that you can have the kidney of a person, or you can say have an organ of a person who is related to you somehow, or it is for the aesthetic reason. Okay, because of which there is a huge demand, but we are not going to cater for that demand, and we are losing lives because of that. Okay, so now backed by gene editing tools, scientists have renewed their effort in xenotransplantation, which could be the solution for the organ shortage. Okay, so this gene editing you must have heard. I don't think I should discuss this, but the thing is, when we are talking about gene editing, that is a simple concept wherein you are targeting a particular gene, you are taking it out, you are replacing it with the healthy genes. Okay, or you can say you are making any kind of change in the genome structure of a person, okay, or a animal maybe. Okay, now that is basically called gene engineering, or you can say biohacking. All these terms are interrelated, so I would want you to go and search for these terms which are related to biotechnology, because you know that there is a section which is dedicated to biotechnology. When we are talking about the previous year questions, there is this particular section which has been asked again and again. Every year we will see at least 1 or 2 questions from this particular section, and most of the time they are related to a terminology only. Okay. UPSC has asked about this CRISPR-Cas9 earlier. UPSC has asked about this biohacking earlier. Okay. So I would suggest that you make a list of such terms that will come handy in the last time when you are going for the revision. Instead of waiting in years long queue, could a person in the need of kidney transplant get it from a pig? Okay. So why pig only? Because kidney or the structure of the kidney in humans and pig are, you can say, quite similar. Okay, working and the mechanism behind it quite similar, and that is why we are seeing pig as a potential donor. Okay. Now, backed by gene editing tools like CRISPR-Cas9, scientists have renewed their effort to make this a reality over last couple of years, with 62-year-old Richard Sleman receiving a genetically modified kidney a week ago in USA. So that is the first case wherein Richard Sleman has been receiving a kidney in USA. Okay. While there are a lot of unknowns, there is a sense of cautious optimism, as xenotransplantation, transplanting organs from animals to human, could be the solution of the current organ shortage. Okay, so they have explained the term xenotransplants here. Okay, so please note it down. That is, xenotransplant is basically transplanting organs from animals to human. That is quite simple. Okay, and this will take care of the issue related to organ shortage, etc. So the idea of xenotransplantation, it is not new. Okay, this is not new. Okay, enabled scientists and doctors now are the gene editing tools that have allowed them to make animal organs more compatible with the humans. Now the thing is, when you are going for a transplant, okay, that transplant can be from human to human as well. When you are going for the transplant, you must have, some kind of similarity for your body to receive it and not respond it as a outsider body, because obviously we have our own immune response. If you are going for any kind of outside body which is entering, outside entity which is entering inside your body's immune system will generate an immune response. Okay, so if you are having very much dissimilarity, that will trigger the immune response. So that is why if you are going for any kind of transplant, there should be a similarity, or you can say similarity in DNA, or you can say genes, etc., so that body can accept that. Obviously 100% similarity won't be there, because every person has a different gene structures. But the thing is, this similarity, if you have more than 70%, 75% similarity, then you can suppress the immune response by different drugs. Okay, so that is one thing which can be done. Now when you are going for the animals, obviously animal is altogether a different species, so obviously these similarities would be less. Okay, even in humans it is quite difficult to find a donor with a huge similarity, so in animals it will also be very difficult. Now the thing is, with the tools like gene editing, what you are doing is that you are taking the organ of that particular animal. Now you are imparting certain changes. You are removing all those genes which can cause a trigger in the immune response of the human. So after removing that, you are entering, or you can say you are replacing them with certain genes which are you can say suppressing the immune response. That is second thing. Other than that, there are certain viruses which are to be removed from the body of a pig. That is retroviruses which are there in humans. Also we have some retroviruses, so these retroviruses should be removed. So that there are certain things which scientists has done. Nearly they have gone for 3 key ways or 3 key differences. So we will see. Okay, scientists genetically modified the pig organ in 3 ways, removed certain pig genes that can elicit a response from the immune system. Okay, certain pig genes which can trigger your immune response, they have removed that first. Second, added some genes to make the organs more compatible with the human. More compatible here means that more similarity with the humans. So they have made some changes there as well. Inactivated the viruses known as the porcine endogenous retrovirus. As I told you, there are certain viruses that are to be removed. In humans we have human endogenous retrovirus. Okay, you don't have to go into details of what human endogenous retrovirus is, what this particular virus is. Just know that this is something which is found in the body of a pig, which has to be removed to eliminate the risk of donor organs infecting the organ recipient. Okay, because if there is a virus, that will have a tendency to affect the other organs. So we are removing that virus as well. Now, after these important three changes, there has been nearly 69 edits which has been made in total. The recipient was also given monoclonal antibodies specifically designed to suppress the immune response in the pig tissues. So basically that is the changes which they have imparted, and after that they can go for the transplant. So they are trying to make sure that all those things which can go wrong, all those things which can trigger your immune response, that can be taken care of. Okay. So now we can go to the next article. Here you can remember few terms, that is xenotransplant, what is CRISPR-Cas9, what is gene editing, what kind of how they have gone for the more compatibility. These three key changes you can remember. Okay, so that is from this particular article. Now moving further with the next article, that is related to your Gulal Gota. Okay. Now, when we are talking about Holi, you must have seen that the kids are playing with the balloons filled with water. Okay. Now, these balloons are obviously not eco-friendly. They can harm a person. They can actually cause harm to a sensitive organ like eyes, etc. Okay. But again, that has been the norm. But in the time, in the medieval time, if we are talking about, at that particular point of time when Jaipur was established by Savai Jai Singh ji, so at that point of time there were different kind of, you can say, water balloons or these Gulal balloons, okay, which is known as Gulal Gota. Now these are made of lac. I will not go into details of all these things because that wouldn't be important, like how these are made and all these things are not important. Just know that Gulal Gota is a kind of, similar to your water balloons, but they are made of lac. Okay. You must have heard this Lakshagraha incident in Mahabharat, wherein these lacs, a palace was built with the lac, and that was restored by the Kauravas, or you can say there was this fire which has been initiated by the Kauravas. The thing is that lac has a tendency, it can melt, it can actually at a proper temperature, it can be converted into a solid or entity. Okay, so you must have heard about this lac bangles. Okay, so that is a specialty in Rajasthan. So remember this thing, that this lac is a substance which can be melted and shaped into a particular kind of shape, or you can say in kind of bangles, or you can say Gulal Gota. Okay. Now Gulal Gotas are costly because there is a lot of effort, there is a lot of material, that is lac. Lac is also expensive material. So because of which we can say that these are not famous nowadays, because these set of 6 Gulal Gotas will cost you around 150 rupees. Okay. And a water balloon packet, I guess for 20 rupees you will get some 25 balloons. Okay. So the thing is, that is why it is not very popular nowadays, but recently it has been made popular because you must have heard about our various schemes wherein government is trying to put forward the handicrafts or all those things which are made by these kind of artisans, okay, on the global platform as well. In G20 summit also they have put a stall over there. Okay, so various leaders of the world, they have been familiarized with this particular thing that is called Gulal Gota. Okay, so now what happens is that they take lac, they melt it, or you can say they make it soft, and then they will convert it into a, you can say, ball like shape, okay, or a shape like this. Okay, and then they will use a funkni, or you can say this particular instrument, this is funkni, using or blowing into it, they will fill air into it, and then they will put gulal inside it. Then they will seal it with a lac cover or form a paper cover. Okay, so earlier when we did not have paper, they used to go for the lac cover. Okay, then that lac cover, or you can say that entity, is so thin that if you hit it on someone, that will have an impact, and because of that impact it will burst, and all the gulal which is inside, that can come out. Okay, so very nice concept, I guess. Okay, on the basis of which now we have these water balloons. So these Gulal Gota is a small ball made of lac filled with gulal or dry colors. Okay, balls are thrown at people on Holi. They break up into bits on impact and cover the person in gulal. Okay, so that is the idea behind this Gulal Gota. Okay, in Rajasthan's Jaipur, it is an old tradition. Colors will be thrown through a unique medium, that is Gulal Gota, dating back around 400 years. Okay, now who has actually come up with this idea, we don't know, but there are two communities, that one is Manihari or Manihar. Okay, these Manihars, they basically came from, they were basically Muslims. After there are migrations which has happened. These people came to this area of Jaipur. Okay, and then there was this another community which was living, that Lakharas or Lakheres. Okay, Lakhara or Lakhere. These Lakheres were Hindu people who are having this art art and craft related to this Lakh. Okay, and these Manihars has learned that particular art from these Lakheras, and now they recently or currently they are following these practices, wherein they are basically going for this Gulal Gotas. Okay, so that is basically about this Gulal Gota. So I would want you to remember about this, because they ask such things, because recently there is a demand for Gulal Gota to get a GI tag as well, because if you get a GI tag, it will be a particular product which is attached to a geographical origin and have a specific characteristics. Okay, so it will make it famous. Okay, and a patron of this particular craft was Savai Jai Singh. Savai Jai Singh II. This is the person, or this is the king who has established the city of Jaipur in 1727. Okay, so that you can remember. So that is about Gulal Gota. Here you can see these are small balls, or you can say these are the basically Gulal Gotas which are covered with the lakh. There is a Gulal inside, and this instrument which is called Funkni, used to blow up air inside that, so that this can be turned into a shape of you can say sphere, and then this is the cover they have put on it, so that the Gulal will not come out until there is an impact. Okay, so that is about Gulal Gota. Now moving further, around the world there are certain incidents. Moscow massacre, ISISK claims their responsibility. Russia pursue Ukraine link. Now there is this place outside Moscow, that is concert hall, and on that concert hall there was this gun attack, and then there was you can say there was this shooting. Okay, shooting massacre in concert hall in near Moscow, the deadliest terror attack in decade. Okay, now there is this militant group which has said that they have taken the responsibility, that is militant Islamist group. Islamic states claim the responsibility of this, but Russia is trying to pursue some kind of Ukraine link. Okay, obviously there is a war going on between Russia and Ukraine, so that is obvious for Russia to go for such links. But the thing is, now they have taken the responsibility, so they should take action against them as well. Okay, now they are saying that they are obviously they are going for the Ukrainian link, but the thing is, Ukraine officials have said that they have nothing to do with it. They have no links whatsoever. Other than that, they have this, gone for the sympathies with the people of Russia. Okay, US official confirms ISIS claims that it was behind the concert hall attack. A fortnight ago, US has intelligence that Islamic State Khorasan, the branch based in Afghanistan, was planning an attack on Moscow and has issued a warning regarding that. Okay, so that is the thing about this particular article. There is nothing much, you don't have to go into details of this attack, but the thing is, you can remember that there is some incident which has happened over there, that is on the concert hall of Russia. Okay, so in your answer writing on, or you can say on the essay writing that is related to terrorism, or you can say global terrorism, you can mention such incidents. That is why I have taken this. Now moving further, that is related to your Moscow defense move, says resolution enables Rafah attack. Russia, China block USA's sponsored UNSC resolution for Gaza ceasefire. So basically USA has gone for drafting a resolution in UN, okay, that is related to a ceasefire. Okay, now the thing is, why this is important, because till now USA has always gone for a veto whenever there was a resolution related to ceasefire. Okay, but recently you can see that there is a change in the strategy of USA, and USA has gone for a resolution by themselves. Okay, now Russia and China did veto this resolution, and they are saying that there are some different intention of US behind that, and this will enable Israel to go for a war in Rafah crossing. Rafah is the area which we have talked about, which has boundary with the Egypt in the Gaza area. Okay, now there are various people who are in the Rafah area because of the they have been sent to that particular area, and they are trying to get aid over there, and they are trying to get out of that particular area from Egypt. Okay, So there is an issue of migrations related to or you can say illegal migrations in the Egypt. So all these things are interrelated, but right now USA has changed the strategy related to it, and now when we are talking about the Israel is saying that they will go in the Rafah, and they will go for an aggression in the Rafah as well if the need be. Okay. So that is another thing, or you can say there was this resolution which has been drafted by USA against their old strategy of vetoing such resolutions. Okay, but now when this resolution was drafted by USA, then it has been blocked by Russia and China. So ultimately, the more larger question behind is that, do we need reforms in UNSC? So obviously, if you are going for any kind of thing wherein you have a enmity between two countries, like let's say Russia is against USA, China is against USA. So whenever Russia and China are trying to do something nice, the US will go for a veto. Whenever US is trying to go for doing something nice, then Russia and China will go for a veto. So ultimately, that is you can say a deadlock situation wherein you are not going for anything concrete. So ultimately, we need to go for reforms. There is a need of change in this particular process as well. Okay. Now India is also trying to go find a seat at the high table. So that is important that now we go for a reform, because countries like India, which are having a significant amount of you can say economy and you can say a say in the global picture, they should be on the high table now. So that is a need of the hour to change in the UNSC, or you can say there should be reforms in the UNSC. Now for your own read, there is this article which is related to Pakistan's Taliban problem, and other than that on the either side of the Afghanistan border. Now that is also related to terrorism. Okay, so when we are talking about this Taliban, you know that Taliban was a child which has been created by Pakistan. Now that is actually haunting the Pakistan. Recently there was these attacks, and these attacks were done by the Taliban, and Pakistan is now trying to remove that Taliban from that area, because obviously some monster is trying to hit you, so you will hit back. Earlier when they were going for making such monster, they did not realize that it will attack them some point of time. Okay, so that your article you can actually read. Okay, now other than that, some map I would like to discuss, because recently there was this issue in Baluchistan. That was the area wherein Pakistan, that is area of Pakistan wherein there was an attack. Okay, so here you can say this Gwadar port. Gwadar port is a port which is developed between that is developed by China in Pakistan. Okay, or you can say with the help of China. So this Gwadar port is important for Pakistan for the sea trade, and now this Gwadar port is basically in the Baluchistan area, and Baluchistan is an area which is quite you can say disturbed because of various things. They are having this demands of independence. Okay, so that is why this area and demands of independence are basically genuine, because this area is having a potential economic resources, potential natural resources in that area, but they are not able to enjoy that. Other than that, when we are talking about this area of Gwadar, when this port is being you can say made over here, so these people thought that they will be getting employment from this particular area, but what happens is that they did not get, these Baluch people, they did not get any employment over here, but the Punjabis and Sindhis, which are dominant communities in Pakistan, they have got the opportunities, employment opportunities in this particular area. Despite being outside their dominant areas, yet they are, Baluch people are not getting employment, but the Sindhis and Punjabis are getting, and because of which there is some economical instability as well, and political issue is already there, and that is why this area is seeing some kind of disturbance. Okay, Baluchistan in Pakistan is Pakistan's largest province, strategically important due to the location. Obviously this location is strategically important because it is connecting Pakistan to the sea, or you can say Arabian Ocean. Okay, for the trade it is important, and it has natural resources as well. It has a history of insurgency, state repressions, and the persistent Baluch nationalist movement since 1948. Since 1948 till now, there have been 5 war of independence in that particular area, or you can say 5 uprising in that particular area. Okay, so that area was obviously under British control earlier, and then there were 4 important provinces. Okay, that is Kharan, Kalat, Makran, and Las Bela. Okay, so this Kalat was the most dominant of these 4, and there was this Khan, or Khan of the Kalat. Like we had kings, they had Khan of the Kalat. This Khan of the Kalat was so dominant that these three other provinces were basically fiduciary of this particular Kalat region. Okay, so with time, this particular Khan of Kalat, or the last Khan of the Kalat, that is Ahmad Yar Khan. Ahmad Yar Khan has some kind of friendship with Jinnah, okay, at that point of time. So they have gone for a treaty of friendship, okay. So when that treaty of friendship happened in 1947, so he thought that now there are high chances that they will not try to annex this area with the Pakistan, okay, sorry. So, but the thing is, after some time, Pakistan started building a pressure on these three provinces to join Pakistan, and they succumbed to the pressure and they joined Pakistan. Okay. Now, Kalat remained alone at that particular point of time, and there was this rumor on All India Radio that Kalat wanted to join with India. And as soon as that rumor came to the public domain, what happens is the Pakistani military entered to this particular area. They have annexed this particular area and signed a treaty of annexation. Okay. Now this area after that is part of Pakistan, but the thing is, they are not willing to be part of Pakistan. They are trying to get separated, and because of which you must see that after that there was this rebellion by Prince Abdul Karim. Okay. So after that rebellion, there were 5 Baluch independence war in 1948, 58, 62, 73, and since 2003 we are seeing that that area is quite disturbed. Okay. Now there are 2 important you can say forces, that is Baluchistan Liberation Front and then Baluchistan Liberation Army. Okay. So these are also very prominent in that area. Now we are seeing that they have some kind of links with the ISIS or some other organizations in that particular area. Okay. Now Pakistani army is also going for the brutality in that area. So that is another case. So this area of Baluchistan was in news, and that is why I have taken this particular discussion over here. And Gwadar port is quite important for you. Okay. Other than that, you know that this Chabar port is basically a strategic location in Iran, which is basically being developed by India over there. Okay. So to counter the presence of China in that particular area. Okay. So these 2 things you should remember. Now moving further, there is another article that is related to your art and culture, that is Dargah of Hazrat Yusuf Qatal. Now this Dargah is in a area where is very less importance has been given, or you can say less attention has been given, but it was beautifully carved Dargah. So I have taken this article. They might ask you, okay, the structure is resembling to the Nizamuddin. So that particular thing. Other than that, you can see that there is this structure which is having various jalis and lattice as per the Mughal architectures. So that is one thing. Other than that, this particular Dargah is of a Sufi saint, that is Hazrat Yusuf Qatal. Now this, remember this particular name, okay, and that is Dargah from the Lodi era. Okay. So that you can go through this article, okay, and try to remember certain points related to it. Now moving further, that is your practice questions for prelims. Which of the following is the primary function of the Cas9 enzyme in the CRISPR-Cas9 system? Okay, similar question has been asked in your UPSC prelims as well. So please pay attention to it and attempt this with a caution. Recognizing the PM sequence, cleaving the target DNA, incorporating foreign DNA into host genome, and repairing damaged DNA. In the start of our discussion, as I told you that this CRISPR-Cas9 enzyme has a particular function. Okay, in the start of our discussion, I have told you what function that is. Accordingly, you have to attempt this particular question and answer in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Thank you. Okay.